Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another release of the RHS Escalation mod. I'm Richards, one of the developers for the US side of the modification. In this video, we'll examine the new and updated content you can find in 043. However, this video is only going to show a small amount of the work, so make sure to download the modification, read the changelogs, and find all the new content and changes for yourself. We'll begin with the United States Forces. The first vehicle is the Cayman series of mine-resistant ambush protected vehicles, or MRAPs. The Cayman is an American-designed MRAP first used during the Iraq War. It's unique as it reuses the chassis from the family of medium tactical vehicles, or FMTVs. Specifically, it uses the chassis from an M1083 5-ton cargo truck. The Cayman fleet comes in two basic variants, the normal version, which you can see here, and the Plus variant, which is seen here. In addition, we are also very pleased to introduce our first iteration of the M153 Common Remotely Operated Weapon Station, commonly known as CROWS. The system consists of a custom monitor and controller and gun platform. As you can see here, the CROWS system has the monitor. The system is fully stabilized, meaning when the vehicle is traversing rough terrain, the weapon is going to remain flat, which allows for much better target acquisition and engagement. And the Plus variant, as you can see here, is fitted with an additional armor kit. As well, it is fitted with the Low Wire Protection Kit, or LWPK, which you can see. The intent of this is to protect the gunner from any low-hanging wires that were commonly seen in Iraq and Afghanistan. Finally, we've also introduced an ambulance variant of the vehicle. The ambulance variant, designated the M1230A1, is capable of carrying 2 litter and also has 2 seats in the back for medical personnel. All of the Caymans are available in both woodland and desert camouflage. The normal versions are designated the M1220 or M1220, and the Plus versions are designated as the M1230 or M1230. Much like our previous MRAP, the RG33L series, the Cayman Plus vehicles are also fitted with the Rhino counter-IED system, which is seen here. The Rhino is a system of a heating element placed in front of the vehicle that extends down and will activate heat-sensitive improvised explosive devices and mines prior to them reaching the vehicle. Speaking of the FMTVs, they also finally received a major update. Many users and developers alike were hard at work improving these vehicles. While the FMTVs had a similar appearance to the old ones, almost everything has been modified. Firstly, all of the existing variants were deleted, and the new vehicle has been appropriately rescaled and completely retextured. Most importantly, all FMTVs now have a functional and complete interior. As you can see here. New variants were also added. Besides the existing 2.5-ton M1078, which you can see here, and the 5-ton M1083, which you can see behind it, we have also added the cargo-only M1084, which you can see here. The M1084 is differentiated from the other variants thanks to the longer wheelbase and the addition of a load handling crane. Finally, we added some special variants as well. The M1085A1 Chemical Biological Protective Shelter version was added. This vehicle is capable of deploying a modular shelter anywhere, so critical medical care can be performed. It carries 2 generators, which are these areas to the front, as well as an air purification system, which you can see is hooked up to the tent in the back. I'm going to quickly demonstrate the function of the M1085. It is only fitted with the armor kit. And to deploy the vehicle, it's deployed in 2 stages. And then the CBPS is deployed. We also added another special variant. The M1078A1R Special Operations Vehicle is nicknamed the War Pig by the Special Forces soldiers who operated them. These vehicles were introduced in the Iraq War and allowed Special Forces B teams to conduct resupply in extremely remote areas. The vehicle comes completely stripped and is only designed to carry the maximum amount of cargo. It is armed with an M2 50 caliber machine gun for local defense, and due to the low profile of the vehicle, the 50 caliber machine gun has full visibility. This vehicle incorporates both replenishment, rearmament, and repair, so all 3 of these functions are available with this vehicle. We also added a command post variant. This is an M1078 that comes fully armored with its B kit, and it is fitted in the rear with a CP or command post shelter. And as you can see, there is a basic interior as well. Now that you have seen some of the new changes to ground vehicles, let's move on to aircraft. With the release of the Jets DLC, we've incorporated some new features in our aircraft. Now the A-10 has a new targeting camera. N activates the IR sensor, and Control right-click brings up the targeting pod. When the targeting pod is up on the screen, it can be moved with the mouse. Here, as you can see, we've already identified some targets. However, the camera can continue to be used when in the cockpit view by assigning the user action 15 to 18 key. I have assigned them to my arrow keys, which allow me to move the camera independently while flying. We're now on the control screen. The user action 15 to 18 keys, as previously mentioned, control the camera when you're not in the targeting view. So when you're in the main cockpit view, you can still move the camera. 15 is left, 16 is right, 17 is up, and 18 is down. In order to easily control it, I've mapped my arrow keys to control this. Keep in mind your arrow keys may be mapped to your flight controls, so you may need to remove them if you want to use your arrow keys to control the targeting camera on the A-10. We also updated our UH-60 Blackhawk and Little Bird helicopters. We've added dynamic loadouts to the EWS and ESSS variants, as you can see here. This is the ESSS variant with the long pylons, and the EWS variant has the short pylon. As you can see here, we can incorporate additional items such as fuel and even mount weaponry such as Hellfire missiles. And all of the weapons have realistic behavior. Here we're adding both Hellfires and rocket pods to the ESSS variant. So as you can see, now the Hellfires and rockets are fixed. And here you can see we've fitted Dagger missiles and rocket pods. And on the EWS version, we only have 2 hardpoints for mounting. And as you can see, right now it's fitted with fuel tanks. And that is what it looks like empty. The AH-6 also has some features for dynamic loadouts. Wing extensions will appear when missiles, rockets, or the gun pod is added to the hardpoints. So we're going to add some Hellfire missiles. And as you can see, the hardpoint has been added to accommodate the Hellfire missiles. Now, one thing to mention, in the cockpit, the aiming circle doesn't align with the gun and rockets by default. In order to fix this, you'll either need to use track IR, or if you do not have track IR, there is a keyboard control to center your view, and that will fix that. We also have some very new, exciting equipment and clothing items. First of all, thanks to great work by ClimaX, we are extremely pleased to show a very early test version of the Army combat uniform. While there are no unit patches or other items attached yet, users can see the extreme detail of the fully textured first release of the ACU. Currently, it is offered in the Universal Camouflage Pattern, or UCP. However, we will also transition this uniform to the OEF-CP, or Operation Enduring Freedom Camouflage Pattern as well. To complement these uniforms, we've also replaced the Arma 2 era crewman helmet. The Combat Vehicle Crewman Helmet, ACVC-H DH132, is a brand new model which includes several variants and markings which were influenced by our real-life Marines and soldiers who have worn them and provided input. Aircrew have also received a new, highly detailed model of the HGU 56P helmet. Featuring both the visor for aircrew and without for pilots, this helmet features many unique liveries and patterns, so aircrew can customize their helmets to their preference. Here we've shown just a few of the variants. Make sure when you download the mod to check them all out, as there are many different combinations and patterns. Also, Schmogs by Cunico have been added in addition to Oakley ballistic goggles. Here you can see the Oakley ballistic goggles, which we have added in addition to our old ballistic goggles. And back on the tanker here, we can see one of the Schmogs. These are available with and without goggles and in several different colors. Finally, for our Special Forces units, the Eagle MBAV has been added. This piece of kit incorporates the benefits of a plate carrier and a tactical vest, and is commonly used by Special Forces soldiers and Marines. We have replaced the original vests on our MARSOC units with these for increased realism. Now we're going to move on to weaponry. In addition to kit, we've added several weapons and pieces of gear. Firstly, the M3 MAWS, or Medium Anti-Armor Weapon System, has been added, which is a medium-range anti-tank 84mm recoilless rifle. Developed in Sweden, the weapon has been used by many NATO countries, and it was recently adopted by the United States Army for use as a medium anti-armor weapon to complement the Javelin missile system in light units. It is available with and without its optic. It is capable of firing a variety of rounds such as high explosive anti-tank, high explosive dual purpose, and air burst. We have also added a model of the Vector 21 Bravo, a multi-purpose observation and targeting tool. In this edition, the Vector only features rangefinder. However, we do plan to integrate the full suite of features this tool offers in subsequent updates. Also added is a much anticipated optic, the G33 magnifier, which is combined with various optics such as this EOTech XPS-1. This allows for 1x holographic sights to function in their normal form. When combined with the G33, they can also function at medium range. Using the alternative sight key toggles the magnifier on and off. As you can see here, the sight is in 1x, and then it can be flipped, and now you can engage at medium range as well. Another optic added was the Aimpoint T1, which can notably also be mounted on the front rails of several weapons. Once we get into the Russian forces, we'll look at this. However, you'll need to press the try button in Arsenal to trigger the script correctly. Now that we've looked at some personal weapons, let's move on to something a little bit bigger. Lastly, for vehicle weaponry, the A3 series of the Bradley fighting vehicle finally received the proper fire control system called the Improved Bradley Acquisition Subsystem Block 2, usually referred to as the IBAS. As you can see, the sights are now fully digitized, and this upgrades both the commander and the gunner's sights. Some of the main improvements on this sight include the traverse indicator in the bottom right of the screen, which shows the position of the gun relative to the hull of the vehicle. Also, now that the sights are fully digital, much more zoom is allowed, and users can now zoom up to 5 times. The weapon remains fully stabilized, and also the weapon indicator, shown in the bottom left, and rangefinder are also included. These are just some of the new things you can find in USAF. Tons of bug fixes and improvements have also been made, so make sure to check out the full changelog in your mod folder to get the full picture. Let's move to the Russian forces. Like the US Armed Forces, our developers have been hard at work on some exciting new vehicles for the Russian forces. Most importantly, the new MiG-29 fighter jet has been added. Developed by Mikoyan Gedovich, the multi-role fighter entered service originally with the Soviet Air Force in the early 1980s. The company standardized the MiG-29S variant in the mid-1980s, and this is the variant we have represented in-game. One of the most interesting and important features is the new advanced targeting system, which allows for use of the R-27 and R-73 missiles. Not only is the aircraft authentically modeled, but great care was taken on the interior to represent these systems as faithfully as possible. First, we'll take a look in-game of the aircraft, and then we'll go into the virtual garage to look at some of the liveries and other customization options, such as weaponry. As you can see, the interior is also extremely high quality and detailed. We'll switch on just so we can see the HUD and other systems powered up. Now we've toggled on the helmet mounted display, and this will be key once we show the targeting capabilities of the aircraft once we are in flight. One interesting fact is the MiG-29 was one of the first aircraft to incorporate a helmet-mounted display, and did so many years before Western countries incorporated it into their aircraft. Alright, now we're going to jump into the editor and take a look at the customization options. We'll begin with liveries on the MiG-29. As you can see, there are a number of camos. A dark blue and gray camouflage pattern, the standard and more modern gray patterns, a gray pattern with the patriotic Russian colors, a gray camouflage pattern, green camouflage, as well as two aggressor patterns. Now let's take a look at the weaponry. One of the most unique and interesting features of the aircraft is the RBK 250-275 cluster bombs which were added. These use the proper cluster simulation created thanks to the Laws of War DLC. There's also an RBK 500 cluster bomb with even more submunition types. Let's equip these now and take a look at it. We'll start by equipping some RBK 250s. And we'll put some 500s on the outer pylon. So here you can see on the inner pylon the RBK 250, and the larger bomb is the RBK 500. Both of these have custom submunitions. Almost all of the cluster bombs and dispensers that have become available to AFRF have accurately and efficiently made submunition models, done by Red Phoenix. Ranging from small-shaped, charged warheads and fragmentation bombs like the PTAB and AO bomblets, to ZAB incendiary submunitions with custom particle effects, and PTM anti-tank and PFM anti-personnel mines. It's also worth mentioning that the FAB 500, KAB 250, and the KH 38, although the latter is only available for our T50, have new models from Liochk Sniper's Pa Cafe add-on, and great credit to him for making those. Also, Hatchet's brand new R27 long-range and R60 short-range air-to-air missiles are also on the MiG-29. Also, the FAB 250 M62 high-explosive dumb bomb is a new model made by De 12th Monkey, and the OFAB 250 fragmentation bomb has been made by Peter. There are also many KH-25 air-to-air surface missile types, which have been made with different seeker types. Let's take a look at some of them. There are also many KH-25 air-to-surface missile types available with different seekers. TV-guided, laser-guided, and anti-radar are just some of the options. In the future, we want to make accurate models for all of these different seeker types. Also, for fuel, 1,150 and 1,500 liter fuel tanks, the PTB 1150 and PTB 1500 can be added on external pylons, and they can even be dropped. KMGU-2 submunition containers with different cluster bombs and mines can also be mounted to the MiG-29 and used for a devastating effect on the battlefield. A new and accurate HUD was also carefully crafted by Rayhart for this aircraft, with different modes activated by changing your loadout. We're now in flight, back in the MiG-29. The first thing we need to do is hit the radar to turn on the radar, and as you can see now our HUD is changed. Scroll to click toggle HMD, and the circle indicates the HUD. As you can see, when we move the HUD to the side, there's an X that indicates we're out of the foresighting range. Here we've locked the aircraft. And as you can see, despite the helmet mounted display, the only view we can see is through the HUD of the aircraft. So the HMD is only assisting in aiming. The actual targets will be spotted on the HUD only. Not only did we release the new MiG-29S, we also added the advanced flight model for the Mi-24 and the Mi-8 helicopters. In addition, the Mi-8 gained a special heavy variant, which is a gunship, the Mi-8 MTV-3, which has extra mounting points for weapons. And as you can see, like other aircraft, it also has the dynamic loadout system. Here it's fitted with 6 rocket pods. However, both bombs, such as the FAB 250s, are also available to be mounted on this aircraft. As mentioned, This aircraft can carry bombs, cluster bombs, and dispensers, but the main weapon this aircraft will usually be mounted with is rockets. New weapons were also added. The AKM received a brand new high-quality model. Not only was the AKM changed, but the addition of the N version was included with a side rail, and Zenitko railed versions, as well as the Romanian PM MD63. As you can see, this is the new AKM model. And here are some of the railed versions. For covert operations, the PB 6P9 pistol by G. Felton has been included. This weapon is based on the Makarov design, although this rare and unique weapon utilized a detachable suppressor and an extremely short slide, as you can see, which resulted in a very quiet action. Finally, the 1P87 sight was added. This is a 1x holographic sight which is similar to the popular Western EOTech series of optics. Much like the 1P87, the EKP-8-02 was also added. This is usually known as the Cobra, and it's slightly different to the one that was already present in the mod. It's neither a collimator or red dot sight mechanically, but it functions similarly to both. A side-mounted as well as the railed version is also present. Use the alternative sight key to toggle the aiming reticle. Finally, on some AK weapons, you will now see the B13 side rail mounted instead of the older NPZ. The Zenitko accessory fits perfectly on the newer rifles that don't yet have an integrated system. As the inventory items, they're now both marked as rail attachments, and the appropriate one will be mounted depending on the rifle. In addition, AK-style weapons that do not have the full rail system now have a front rail, and can incorporate items like the Aimpoint T1 mounted on the front. In order for this to fully work, make sure to hit try to activate the script. As you can see, the Aimpoint T1 is now mounted on the front rail of the AK. Again, tons of improvements and bug fixes have been made, so make sure to read through the changelog. Now, let's move on to the Green Forces. The Green Forces also saw a number of additions to their soldiers' equipment. First of all, we have the M93 uniform in the British DPM pattern. Also, we have the Altus Lizard pattern, 3-color desert, and the olive drab camouflage. The PAS GT helmet also has several camo additions. To top it off, we have included the Alice webbing, as you can see here, and Cunico's beautiful new Alice backpack. One of the biggest changes to the Green Forces have been on the weapons side. The Czech VZ58V and VZ58P rifles have been added. The V variant has the solid stock, as you can see here, and the P variant has the skeleton stock. Both of the VZ58V and VZ58P rifles were made by Elena Bolshevik. Another one of our new team members, Anton, has contributed the iconic TT-33 handgun. He has also contributed the LZH-18 20-gauge shotgun. Both of these new weapons are available for the Green Forces. Finally, Beck has contributed the very unique and cool Mosin SBR modification, which is fitted with the unique suppressor. which lends as a unique element for any covert operations. The above additions to Kit have allowed us to start on a new unique faction called the Horizon Island Defense Forces, which bring new detail and experiences to the Tanoan Island archipelago. As you can see here, these are some of the units that are available, such as the M11A3s. They are armed usually with M16 rifles, as well as ERDL camouflage. The Horizon Defense Forces is more of a local defense and police militia, so their equipment reflects that. Most of it is early model Western equipment, and they are equipped with the Alice system and old M1 steel pot helmets. Now we'll move on to the Serbian Armed Forces. The Serbian Armed Forces also gained a new tactical vest. The MD-12 vest is a modular vest that incorporates both different magazine styles and can accommodate armor as well. It is available in two versions, both with AK-style mags and traditional mag pouches, and comes in the digital camouflage pattern. For weaponry, the Serbian Armed Forces also have access to the Scorpion SMG as well. As with the other mods, the Serbian Armed Forces have received a number of new fixes and features, and we strongly advise for you to review the changelogs, which are available on our website or in your downloaded add-on folders. We would like to thank all of you for your continuous support, and we hope you'll enjoy the release. This month, we have seen our mod pass 400,000 subscribers on Steam Workshop, which is a number beyond all of our expectations. We're very excited to start working on the next iteration, and we hope you're enjoying it, playing it as much as we enjoyed making it. Thank you, and goodbye from the RHS team.